Hela Provincial Health Authority welcomes new CEO. PNG still developing system to preserve its records. And 24 teams battle for a spot in the MRDC Super 9's finals.
This is National MTV News with Lorraine Gabina.
Good evening, Papua New Guinea, and thank you for joining us on our first one-hour Saturday bulletin. The Hela Provincial Health Authority has welcomed its new Chief Executive Officer. The role has been taken up by Dr. Ganzi Gawin. The new CEO said the only way for the Hela Provincial Health Authority to work and to move forward is for the staff and management to accept change and be willing to change.
Dr. Gunzi Gawin arrived with his family in Tari on Thursday this week. He arrived to a rousing welcome from the Hela Provincial Health Authority Board, led by Chairman Peter Botten, Hela Provincial Administrator William Bando, Health Department Secretary and Hela Provincial Health Authority Director Pasco Kase, and health staff.
I can tell you, I don't think we could have done better at all around Papua New Guinea to bring a great man to run our Provincial Health Authority. And I'm so pleased to welcome Gunzi here today. He is a man of honour, a man of class, and a man of substantial talent and passion. He's the ideal person to come and help us turn Hela Provincial Health Authority into the best health authority in the country. So welcome, Gunzi.
Board Chairman Peter Botten said the authority was pleased to have secured the services of Dr. Gawin. He said the board looked forward to working with him and the staff to improve the Hela Provincial Health Authority.
The only way we can move forward in Hela, in getting the services, is for you to accept and be willing to change. If you can be willing to change, we will change the way we do things here. And I know in a few years' time we will transform this place and make it a model for the country.
Mr. Botten said the authority was now also recruiting other staff to fill in vacant positions and bring its staff numbers to a full level 6 hospital.
And with a class staff, building the training of our people, building the capacity of our people to deliver services to Hela, we are winning a battle.
Deli Waigeno, National MTV News.
Papua New Guinea is still developing a system for preserving records after 43 years of independence, while government records are either lost or destroyed. Education Minister Nick Kuman says the national government will continue to fund libraries across the country and assist the National Library and Archives Agency in Port Moresby. He said this at the launch of the National Library and Archives 10-year strategic plan.
A 10-year plan was launched to give the National Library and Archives Services direction for the next 10 years. With increasing demand for information and the shift in technology, the country is still lacking basic infrastructure like public and school libraries. National Library and Archives Director General Kakaito Kasi said during the launch that the agency has records dating back as far as the 1800s.
Today we have records dating back to the 1800s, and we should be thankful to the colonial administration.
Those records of the past were kept by the colonial administration. Today, records are often lost or destroyed. Papua New Guinea does not have a formal archiving system in place to record information. Education Minister Nick Kuman, who launched the strategic plan, says records in government have been lost over the years, but the present government is working to fix the problem.
We can be able to achieve at least the development of archives properly managed filing system in the country that can keep all the records of this country, collect the information about the history of Papua New Guinea and elsewhere.
The national government has funded district development authorities to build libraries in schools across the country. The Education Department has the responsibility to ensure that PNG has a viable data recording system that holds the country's history for the future. Bethany Harriman, National MTV News.
The International Training Institute, or ITI, recently opened a campus in Manus province. The first intakes began enrolling this week, and the new campus is expecting between 400 to 500 pioneer students to take up full-time courses and distance mode.
The ITI Manus campus was recently opened in Lorengau. This is part of ITI's attempt to make education and training accessible and to develop the human resource of the island province. ITI co-founder Senthil Kumaran Senthival said surveys showed that education generally improved the livelihood of individuals and households.
Basically, our policy has been that we bring the education to the doorsteps.
ITI acknowledged the support of the provincial government and thanked Manus Governor Charlie Benjamin for the backing. This year, ITI is teaching certificate and diploma courses. ITI is one of the first institutions of higher learning in the province, and Mr. Senthival said ITI will introduce degree programs to the Manus campus beginning in 2018.
For ITI, we are actually one of the higher education providers. We've been almost 3 years a higher education provider, and so in fact we can even do degree programs. In fact, we are most likely launching our degree program next year.
Deli Waigeno, National, MTV News.
An internationally acclaimed American documentary filmmaker is in PNG as part of the American Film Showcase program. Dawn Porter is a filmmaker and founder of production company Trilogy Films, whose film Gideon's Army won the award for Best Editing in 2013 Sundance Film Festival.
I am here as part of the American Film Showcase, which is a program run by the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, and also the United States Embassy here in Port Moresby.
The founder of Trilogy Films is here supporting the U.S. Embassy's programs and women empowering initiatives addressing social issues such as gender-based violence and keeping girls in school. Traveling with her is her 15-year-old son, who is in high school and a filmmaker himself.
It's been extremely enjoyable. I think I've learned a lot, and I've seen a lot, and I've met a lot of people. It's been interesting.
Porter speaks of how film has a powerful impact on important issues.
Film is one of the most powerful mediums that we have. And I think to the extent that it makes us reflect on our own lives and struggles and resilience, I think that's something that's really, really powerful. I know from my first film, the United States Justice Department committed $2 million to training new lawyers and cited the film as part of their reasoning.
Also traveling with them is Associate Dean, Administration and International Projects at the University of Southern California, who is a co-principal investigator of the American Film Showcase.
An American Film Showcase was started about 6 years ago, and we're in our 5th year of programs in which we send out American documentary filmmakers to 35 to 40 countries each year. So this is our first trip to PNG, and the objective of the State Department, for which sponsors this program, is to encourage young filmmakers, aspiring filmmakers, to tell their own stories.
The trio will be conducting several meetings and discussions at various locations around Port Moresby and will leave the country on the 7th of March. Geraldine Calabai, National, MTV News.
Prime Minister Peter O'Neill has welcomed the decision of the Supreme Court that will enable Parliament to decide if election nomination and petitioning fees will be adjusted. The Supreme Court has refused the application by the Ombudsman Commission for an injunction that would have prevented Parliament from debating, deliberating and voting on national election nomination fees and petition filing fees. The Prime Minister said the proposed amendments will strengthen democratic process to enable true contenders to stand for elections and will help prevent the malicious use of the court system after elections. More local stories after the break, including emergency road repairs in Madang and vital water projects in Western Highlands and NCD. Stay with us. Welcome back to National MTV News. Emergency road repairs in Medang have begun over the past few weeks as instructed by Secretary of Works David Were. Lay-based contractors JVP&G Investment Limited is being assisted by local contractors. Over the past few months, there have been ongoing discussions on social media about the poor state of the roads in Medang.
Just before midday today, contractors were patching various parts of the Modilon Drive. In recent weeks, residents of Medang on social media have had various discussions about the poor state of roads in this tourist destination. Hood Casas, a local contractor, says he is pleased to assist JVP&G Investment Limited with the road repairs as he feels he is doing his part as a Medang local.
Big play, tok come up long social media and plan di tok blol man lo Medang. Even all line outside all walk lo tok long side by clean him so me play take him initiative long osem all Medang line contractor lo yeah me play help him assist him osem subcontractor na me play make him this walk inside lo.
Medang, once known for its natural beauty, has deteriorated over the years. In 2010, Medang began seeing an increase in the town's population, the influx of settlers looking for jobs and opportunities. Medang was planned for a small population. Those plans didn't take into account future growth and the pressure on transport infrastructure. JVP&G Investment Limited has identified that poor drainage systems have caused serious problems with the roads.
Mibla just come out sali mibla come lo emergency maintenance long Medang town.
The poor state of roads in Medang has resulted in long traffic queues. Similar situations are also experienced in other parts around the country. The people of Medang are hoping that the roads will improve in the near future. Melissa Tatut, National MTV News, Medang.
Meanwhile, Works Secretary David Were says to fix priority roads around the country would cost the state around 5 billion kina. The Leh Medang and Highlands Highway, including other roads around the country, are part of the 80% on the priority list. The national government has partnered with Asian Development and World Bank to fund the improvements of the roads over 10 years.
2012, the backlog, deferred maintenance backlog was estimated to be around 4 to 5 billion kina. And over the last 5 years, one of our key programs or key goals was to reduce the backlog both on the bridge replacement and roads. And we've improved. We've rehabilitated some sections of the main highway, especially the main highways. But still, you know, it has to be a continuous effort. Once you stop and want to start again, the defects are already, you know, at different size and depth, and together with it, there's a rise in the cost of maintenance.
More than 3,000 people from the Koge No. 2 area of Hagen Central Electorate will benefit from a water project. The project, worth 11,000 kina, was facilitated by Mercy Works, an organization within the Catholic Church. This will be the first time for the community to have access to clean water source. Vasinata Yama reports from Mount Hagen.
The Koge people, like other provinces in the country, walk for a long distance to get clean water to use. This project is in its first phase, but already supplied water to more than 800 kilometers. The water source is from a small creek, but specialists from the PNG Water Board confirmed it can supply the whole of Mount Hagen City.
I've been rushing about 11,000 tasol, 2011. Before me come councillor. Now this all funds me will put him call a rotary na also help me will fund him project locks in the water supply go community but then this funds him stop on the rotary for some 3 or more than 3 years and then we all make him and then we have to go and refund that money and then we have to put it back to Mercy Works again and then.
In 2011, the Koge people decided to raise money to pull water supply into the area. This was to minimize the workload of the women and children to walk distance to fetch clean water to cook and drink. They successfully collected 11,000 kina from the community and invested it to Rotary to assist in bringing the water supply. This did not happen until last year when Mercy Works from the Sisters of Mercy, PNG, stepped in to assist in providing technical support in bringing the water supply to the community.
Wabla something we are looking at water and big problem. Plenty of water in Papua New Guinea, all creeks and all. It's been polluted. So
Mercy Works have been working closely with people at the village level since 2007 and have identified the need for PNG to have access to clean water system. They are more focused in doing development projects and human rights issues. All of their programs targets youths and mothers to empower them to change their way of living and be self-reliant. Meanwhile, a community leader, John Mugna, said this is a big change to the community. He said the community have seen more services recently because of the hard work of the community leaders.
Now I'm lifetime looking for some water. I'm grown. Now I'm control community plumibla na water. I'm club staff looking life kat big mas.
Basinata Yama, National MTV News, Mount Hagen.
Another water project was commissioned recently in Port Moresby. Settlers from Kukipi block, located at 9 Mile in the Moresby Northeast Electorate, celebrated the commissioning of their water project. The block is mostly occupied by settlers from Gulf Province who will now have access to clean water.
Kukupi Block is the latest settlement to receive water under the member Labiyama Youth Water Initiative. The water project is totaled at 150,000 kina.
Me need to emphasize. Now me need to talk him yupla, or take him ownership, na challenge him yupla. This black and service, suppose you look out in all the passing, but you don't have kissing again.
Edirano executives who were present at the commissioning insisted that the community needed to pay the bills to allow water to flow.
Put in pipe, and me black can walk him. Block collecting money, and you play it. Because what I mean, black I'm losing, you play or use him.
The member also reminded the settlers that a water vetting committee must be set up to collect water bills and control water usage.
This black water where me black connect him come inside. You may need to make sure you make a proper water vending committee and be step in place to access him this black water on behalf of the community.
The member for North East also presented 40,000 kina to the Women and Youth Association along with a community diner. These come under his DSIP funds. Adelaide Xerox, Kari National, MTV News.
Kairuku Hiri MP Peter Isoaimo has applauded Gaire Primary School for making good progress both in administration and academic performance despite the TFF funding delay. This week the school relaunched a project that was put on hold 3 years ago.
In 2015, Gaire Primary School planned for the construction of a classroom to cater for its gradually increasing population. In 2011, the school population stood at 308 students. Today, the student body is an estimated 500 heads. Now, with the concept of free education, the administration anticipates a steeper growth rate. Hence the proposed 4-in-1 double classroom.
Thank you very much.
Cutting the ribbon symbolically sets the project in motion since its conception 3 years ago. According to a school administration spokesperson, the project was put on hold because of a delay in 350,000 kina worth of sponsorship from the Gaming Control Board. The funds have been released, bringing the classroom's estimated collective financing to 600,000 kina. Member for Kairuku Hiri Peter Isoaimo also pledged a separate 50,000 to support the school's ambitions.
We will give Gaire Ward a priority for your education 50,000 commitment as well as the health one.
The school prides itself in having a proactive administration that says it has used the annual TFF capital to drive the success of its students. This comes at a time schools nationwide have raised concerns over deteriorating school infrastructure under the strain of overhead costs and a delay in the full TFF component. In a conjoint formality, Trade Pacific PNG staff demonstrated to the school body the issuing of TFF-funded teachers and students learning materials in an accountable, transparent and equitable fashion. Melissa Gaviro, National MTV News.
National Court Judge Panuel Mogish says there are about 600 unattended bench warrants in Papua New Guinea which are unattended by police. This is due to limited resources and funding to cater for transportation and housing for police officers in order to execute bench warrants in rural areas of the country.
National Court Judge Panuel Mogish urged provincial authorities to work in partnership with the law and justice sector to support police officers to serve outstanding bench warrants. Justice Mogish made this statement while officiating at a recent event at Kwikila Station in Central Province. He said there are a total of 600 outstanding bench warrants. Central Province has 87, however, because of community involvement with police, numbers has gone down to 23. Mogish also encouraged prosecutors to observe trial proceedings to have a fair idea on how to tender evidences in court. Eric Arupma, National MTV News.
You're watching National MTV News. After the break, I'll bring you stories making headlines overseas, including Trump and Russia. Welcome back to the news. There are many questions that continue to swirl over what contacts the U.S. President Donald Trump's top aides have, including the Attorney General with Russia's ambassador to the United States. Trump, who was spotted heading to Florida, is not avoiding questions about Russia.
Before leaving the White House, his closest advisors holding an animated meeting in the Oval Office. Chief strategist Steve Bannon looking particularly agitated as the week ends with more aides acknowledging meetings with the Russian ambassador last year. The administration is on damage control. The president's words from last month not holding up to scrutiny.
I have nothing to do with Russia. To the best of my knowledge, no person that I deal with does.
The White House has yet to explain the purpose of these meetings, the disclosure of which has overshadowed the president's well-regarded speech to Congress this week. Republicans urging Team Trump to be more forthcoming.
I think everybody who's had contact with the Russians need to get in a practice of oversharing.
In a statement, the president defending his attorney general as an honest man, blasting Democrats for what he called a total witch hunt. Those words echoed in Moscow, where Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov described it the same way.
It all looks like a witch hunt.
Russia clearly on the president's mind today, sending this tweet. We should start an immediate investigation into Senator Schumer and his ties to Russia and Putin, a total hypocrite. Senator Schumer firing back. Happily talk about my contact with Mr. Putin and his associates took place in 2003 in full view of press and public under oath. Would you and your team? In Wisconsin, Vice President Mike Pence facing questions about using a personal email account to conduct business as Indiana governor. It was hacked in a phishing scam as first reported by the Indianapolis Star.
I'm very confident that our email practices were in full compliance with all of Indiana's laws.
On the campaign trail, he often criticized Hillary Clinton's private email server.
Even classified information that was allowed to be on her own private server exposed to hacking. I mean, I have to be honest with you, I'm experiencing Clinton's scandal fatigue.
Pence rejected that comparison today.
No, there's no comparison whatsoever between Hillary Clinton's practice of having a private server, mishandling classified information, destroying emails.
All this as the week drew to a close, with the president still not signing a new travel ban for visitors from majority Muslim countries. He once argued it was urgently needed because a delay would allow the bad dudes to rush in. A new report from the Department of Homeland Security undercuts his goal, finding that most violent extremists are not radicalized when they come to the U.S., but only after living here for several years.
About 46,000 people escaped from western Mosul this past week as the offensive against ISIS drags on, but up to 800,000 people remain trapped there. A team of American medics is helping casualties in fighting. We warn viewers that the images in this report may be disturbing.
We got 100 of tramadol and 75 of ketamine.
Scorched by the flames from a suicide car bomb, an Iraqi soldier lies in shock and pain.
This is wet. I'll do a layer of wet first.
Medics at this frontline clinic struggle to stabilize him.
So we're going to get him on that same helicopter? Yeah, but listen, it might not be for like, he's going to call me back. He might not be able to get out of here for 30 minutes.
This volunteer group, New York City Medics, is working just a 10-minute drive from the battle for western Mosul.
Go ahead, you can grab his arm, make sure he's okay.
Most have never been in a war zone. Some of the injured here are coming straight from the battlefield.
This is shrapnel.
Here they check their wounds.
Yeah, I'm green here too.
Change their bandages and send them on to the nearest hospital.
Nursing ampicillin.
The team comes from all over the United States.
That's okay, that's all right, sorry. Sorry, put a little bit of water on it, okay.
The head doctor from Germany. Jeff left behind his wife and 11-year-old son to come here.
I think as a father and as a husband that the onus is on me to live through example and to do things that show my son how important it is to live, in a way, a selfless life.
A selfless life, saving lives, a very long way from home.
Australia's next generation of fighter jets took centre stage at the aviation show yesterday. Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull welcomed the Joint Strike Fighters. It is estimated about 5,000 jobs will be created as part of the contract for the aircraft.
Australian taxpayers are forking out $17 billion to buy 72 of these US jets. Planes capable of about 2,000 kilometres an hour and with cutting-edge stealth capabilities, including electronic radar jamming, advanced sensors, 360-degree cameras and ability to share real-time information. RAF pilots Andrew Jackson and David Bell flew the jets to Avalon Air Show, where they were met by Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull and Defence Minister Marise Payne.
So that when we send our young men and women out to war, they have the tools to do the job and then to come safely home. That's our commitment, and the technology you've seen here today enables us to deliver it.
These jets will return to the United States, and Australia's first Joint Strike Fighters will arrive late next year. The full complement will take about 5 years.
A father in the UK has turned inventor to help his young son. Ben Ryan was told his son would have to wait years for a bionic arm, so he decided to make one himself.
At first glance, Sol Smith Ryan looks like a typically cheeky 2-year-old boy. But if you take a closer look...
Can I show how it works? This is how it works. It goes on and the thumb moves. Nicely displayed, Sol.
12 hours after Sol was born, doctors realised he had a blood clot in his left arm. He was just 10 days old when his limb was amputated just below the elbow. Experts told Ben and Kate it would be a year before their son could be fitted with a prosthetic arm and another 3 years before he could wear an electric device that moved. Ben didn't want to wait, so he decided to invent his own. He quit his job as a psychology lecturer and retreated to his garden shed. With no experience in product design, Ben emerged 2 months later with a revolutionary prototype, a bionic arm with a movable thumb using a hydraulic system.
Chambers inside the socket that are filled with fluid, which pass the fluid around pipes, which cause the thumb to open and close.
With the help of a university lab, Ben used a 3D printing technology to turn his concept into reality. He's now set up his own company to work full-time on improving Sol's bionic arm.
If he sees something, he grabs it and picks it up, and without thinking, that's when I know I've done my job.
Ben believes his invention could change millions of lives, with his own son as the perfect poster boy.
You're watching National MTV News. The sports segment is next with the MRDC Super 9's quarterfinals, AFL preparations for the 2017 season, and more. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. In Rugby League, 24 teams play the elimination rounds of the quarterfinals in the MRDC Super 9's tournament today. The winning teams from today's matches will proceed to the grand finals tomorrow. The opening match today was between Real Roadside and Comara Aqua in the Pool D category.
The first match for the elimination round saw Real Roadside take on Comara Aqua in the first half, and with 5 minutes into the game, Real Roadside with a cutout pass managed to score their first try with conversion unsuccessful. It wasn't long before another long pass from Richard Pongi to Andy Viri from the Comara Aqua side to level the score. The Real Roadside were instrumental with their ball work and scoring 2 more tries, leading with 15 points to Comara 4. In the second half, the momentum evolved as the game continued. Comara managed to get through the gap for a try, but the Real Roadside maintained their defense, scoring 2 more tries before the full time, leading with 26, clogging Comara Aqua on 10 points. Manus said the theme of the tournament is "Do not sell your land, protect your customary land for your future generation."
That's the theme of the tournament, and that team is fully supported and recognized by the sponsors, MRDC. No can Salim Mama Ground, look out him blow you, and blow line blow you, blow behind time. That's the theme of the tournament.
MRDC manager Stephen Evercon said not everyone had the opportunity to succeed in education, but rugby league is becoming a way to pursue a career.
And social obligation, we're here happy to help to the youth of this country. And for most people being the Premier League, we've always supported this competition, and we will continue to support them in the future, because league is the national sport, and that's an avenue where our youth can get out of trouble and then continue to play the sport and excel in life, because not everyone has the opportunity to succeed in studies and education. And rugby league is a pathway where they can develop themselves into better citizens of this country.
Other matches saw both men and women played in the quarterfinal for bowl, plate and cup, and we'll see the grand finals tomorrow. Jason Dom, National MTV Sports.
A massive task lies ahead for the AFL PNG as the Sporting Code prepares for the 2017 season. Academy and Welfare Manager William Yogomin said new programs will be rolled out in schools, while training for the under-16 Binatangs will also be a priority as they prepare for the Queensland State Championships in Brisbane next month.
PNG AFL Federation will focus on school-based programs around the 4 regions of the country. This will also see the implementation of new programs such as inclusiveness in sports, gender equality and no school policy, where students are encouraged to go to school in order to participate in the sport.
Provinces now registering their schools to our AFL development program. Again, is so far starting this weekend, with more schools coming in. We're looking at Lay getting more. Currently, Lay and Mosby have the highest number of schools participating. Again is stepping up now, and then we see Kimber coming in. And
he says the aim for this year is also to encourage young women to participate in the sport.
Part of the targets are our 3 PSP pillars, which we involve in our programs. No violence against women, gender equality. Currently we have more girls playing now. In our school competitions we have the under 14 girls coming in now this year, so It's a big step.
Along with development programs, opportunities will also be given to the under-16 Binatangs to ensure they prepare well for their tournaments. Training for South Pacific AFL team is also going well as players prepare for Queensland State Championships next month.
16 South Pacific boys in training. They've got their paperwork done, the visas to be done next week. So the first group of children traveling this next month is the under 16 boys going down as part of the South Pacific team.
With over 40,000 children involved in AFL development programs in PNG, Williams said the aim is to give every child an opportunity to at least participate in sports. Godwin Eki, National MTV Sports.
To hockey, and the PNG men's and women's national teams are set to embark on a grueling schedule in the coming months as they prepare for the Oceania Championships in October. Part of the national team based in Port Moresby had a long morning session with coach Manoi Pokiap, aware that they will be facing both Australia and New Zealand. The Lae-based players will eventually join them to form the final squad a month before travelling.
We know that the Kookaburras are Australian and the women's and also the Black Stick, which is New Zealand, they are up there to the top. We didn't expect to beat them. We thought that we will be out there to be competitive with them since we got the turf here, and we think that we can give something back in after the turf.
Have you watched how Australia and New Zealand have played?
Yeah, we watched them. We played them before in New Zealand, and we came up quite all right with them, and we think that we can improve on that.
When we come back, an inspiring story about a basketball star with a disability who can slam dunk as well. Stay tuned.
True Kai Sports.
Welcome back to True Kai Sports. In softball, only a week remains until the finals of women's softball in Port Moresby. Tournament official Sue Tarasomo says the competition this year has seen far more participants and is confident that the new facilities have helped raise the quality of competition. The top 4 teams from both the A grade and B grade divisions will battle it out next week for the 2017 title.
United Sisters, they are on the top, and then we have the runners-up as well for last year, Best, and then third place at the moment is Yokomo, and fourth we have Wantoks and Saints, and today's games will also be the decider of who goes into the top 4 and next week as well. For the big graders, I think it's Yokomo on the lead, and just behind them is Mariners, Saints and United Sisters.
In tennis, world number 1 Andy Murray overpowered Lucas Pouille 7-5, 6-1 on Friday to reach the Dubai Championships final. Murray lost his serve twice to Pouille in the opening set, but the top seed broke the 7th-seeded Frenchman for the 3rd time. Murray, who played a marathon 31-minute tiebreak in his quarter-final win over German Philipp Kohlschreiber, breezed through the 2nd set to reach his 2nd final in Dubai. Murray will meet Spaniard Fernando Verdasco in tonight's final. American basketball is proving an inspiration for people born with disability. Trashawn Willis is in 8th grade, and although he has only one arm, he's a star on his high school team, and at 119 centimeters tall, he can even slam dunk.
The kid has the moves of a natural, but we're not talking college hoops. This is middle school ball in tiny Washington, Iowa. And our 6'3" phenom is 14-year-old Trashawn Willis. This clip of his dunking prowess has burned up the internet.
You know I could do things if I really put my mind to it.
An 8th grader who does it all with his right arm because he was born missing the left one. I guess you thought that would slow him down. Not in your life.
He's still humble, still has a big heart, and wants to help people, and he doesn't let anything get to him.
After school, he can be found tutoring elementary school kids and plans on mentoring another young boy missing an arm.
There's people that were born without a limb too, and they're like reaching out to me and saying like I inspired them and that they do sports too, and I just told them thanks and that they can do whatever they put their mind to.
For the middle school Demons coach, Trishan sets an example each time he flies through the air.
When you have an obstacle in front of you, when you have a challenge, how am I going to overcome that? And he does that.
That drive doesn't stop on the court. Here he is scoring a touchdown for his football team. And Trishan's preparing to have his hand full for high school.
I'm going to do football, and basketball, and most likely track.
And homework.
And homework. And homework. I think I'm a good kid because my parents raised me right and pushed me to be the best I can.
And that wraps up the sports news. Up next, the weather details.
True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Your weather forecast for the next 24 hours in the southern region. For Port Moresby, expecting a chance of shower or two developing tonight, and cloudy periods for Daru, partly cloudy in Kerema and Popondetta, and fine in Alotau. In the Momasa region, mostly fine in Ley and Medang, and Wewak expecting chances of light showers developing tonight, and Vanimo expecting chances of a shower or two. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau with a few showers with possible thunderstorms, and Kavieng expecting overnight showers, while Kokopo and Rabaul expecting cloudy periods with chances of light showers. Kimbe and Buka a chance of a shower or two. And in the Highlands region, Mount Hagen, Goroka and Kundiawa with chances of light showers tonight, then morning fog, and in Mendi and Wabeg, few showers developing tonight, then morning fog. Ocean forecast for PNG areas in the Coral Seas sees slight with southeast to east winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Solomon Seas sees slight with northeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. In the Bismarck Seas sees slight with northeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. And in the Pacific Ocean sees slight with east to southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. Forecast for small ships for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG-Indonesian border through Torres Strait and Daru to Kiwai Island, to Kerema, to Yule Island, to Hood Point, to Samurai Island. Waters of eastern and western Milne Bay Islands. Waters of Samurai Island to Cape Vogel to Finchafen. Waters of Finchafen through Vitius Strait, CSE Islands to Long Island. Waters of Long Island to Medang, to Bogia, to Wewak, to Aitape, to Vanimo, to northern PNG Indonesian border. Waters of Manus and its western group of islands seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters of New Britain to New Ireland and Bougainville seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And before we go, our top stories again. Provincial Health Authority welcomes new CEO. PNG still developing system to preserve its records. And 24 teams battle for a spot in the MRDC Super 9's finals. And that's the way it is this Saturday, the 4th of March. From the entire news team, pleasant viewing. Good night.